Well, welcome to another fabulous episode of Joel and Randy's Texas Tea. I'm so excited because we're going to do what? Free range, bitch. We're just going to talk about everything or anything that's on our minds. Today we have, of course, Joel.
Yay!
And we have Pinky.
Boo.
Pinky is in the building.
And we have
I love you
a
too,
special guest, Carlos.
Hola.
And we have another special guest that I think you'll all know when we say this. David White. Yes, we are blessed and pleased to have David White here, girl.
Greetings, all. Greetings.
Okay.
All right, so what's going on?
Okay, first of all, before we get started, before we get this free range of chickens on the road, because somebody was going to make that joke anyway.
Shut up.
I don't care for chickens myself. I like men.
Miss White, here's what I need you to do. I need you to come in close, and then when you're not, sit back, and then come in close,
Lean back,
and then when you speak in.
We're doing technical shit, so y'all bear with us.
No, I'm just trying to make sure because I want y'all to hear David White.
They're having testicle difficulties.
So,
I know.
I don't
had an
know.
incident.
I'm thinking maybe we should start with Carlos and ask Carlos, what's going on, girl? You got something to say?
I always have something to say.
Then say it, bitch.
So I know earlier. First of all, I want to give a quick update about the show 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
It was awesome. I actually did have quite a bit of people show up to the gallery. And so I have 2 orders. So
yes.
And I'm doing some homework as to where I'm going to be showing some of my work next. So there's a couple galleries, a couple different places that I'm interested in, and so I'm in talks to see what happens. So hopefully I'll give more announcements later.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, Queen. Yes.
Remember the family making it, bitch. Somebody, can I borrow $5, please?
Sure.
Girl, that didn't take long, did it?
No, that did not at all.
I have nothing but pennies, but $5.
So, Mr. David White, do tell us what's going on and what's happening.
Nothing going on with me? Pardon me, I need to go in, right, Joel?
Yes, you need to go
Nothing
in.
going on with me. I'm boring.
You're not boring.
Yeah, I'm okay with being boring.
I'm intrigued, though, because you're in transition, and I'm talking about... No, bitch, I'm not talking about that kind of transition. You're in transition because you've just moved back to Texas, and now you're in stay hotel. And I'm intrigued because they can be really cute. I always wanted to live in one of those places.
Are you talking about an extended stay?
Yes,
Okay.
I've always wanted to
it's
do
not
an
one of those.
extended
It's
stay
not one of those
thing.
$40 a night things.
Right.
Oh, hell no.
Not the actual
No.
extended stay
That
brand.
was the first night. That was like, oh no!
Oh, Lord.
Couldn't get out of that place fast enough.
Oh, Lord. Did we tell? No, I don't think we told
we
the.
did.
Did we tell the story of what happened?
Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
I think the first episode he was
Oh,
on,
yes, that's
Yes.
right.
Hey, we're all talking
You
over
guys
each
talking
other.
about
Let's wait.
the drive back.
So that's where
We're all talking over
and I was
each
like,
other.
oh, I'm sorry. I was like, wait a minute, because Pinky sent a little message about some stuff that was happening, and she used the word "come dump," and she said it's like from one of the episodes that we did. And I'm like, wait, we said "come dump" in a lot of episodes. Which episode you
I don't think it's come to. I think it's
I love it that it wasn't specific enough. Which episode?
You said episode 8. And there was like 8 episodes with the word "come dump" in it.
Oh yeah.
So, David,
This is one of those now.
So, David, are you enjoying it? Is it a bad experience?
No, it's
I like the idea of having a maid come over every morning and clean up. You know
actually,
what I'm
it's kind of annoying because they knock on the door at 8 in the morning, and I'm
Right.
like,
It's not on your schedule. It's on
It's on
theirs.
theirs. So my room gets clean, hit or miss.
Don't disturb.
That's what I do because lately I've been waking up till 10:30, 11 o'clock.
And then housekeeping's gone by 11, so you can't
Done for
That's
the
the
day.
latest
Oh
that
well,
they can-
yeah.
you know.
It's not like he's laying. It's not like he's laying around in his own filth all day. Good Lord! If
No,
you
it's not.
leave one time when
Right.
Bitch,
exactly.
go away. And that's it.
They'll be back. They'll be back tomorrow.
They'll be back tomorrow. So I wanted to bring up a little subject, and I actually have my phone, and I don't know where that phone is, so I'm not even going to get up to look for it. But the thing is that, I'm reading this little story. Being gay is just, it's fabulous. It is fabulous.
Agreed.
And this poor child got his ass whooped because somebody didn't care for him being gay. And it seems like that, and it came from Great Britain, and I'm like, it seems like there's an awful lot of stuff, an awful lot of gay people getting beaten up.
Or lesbians.
Or lesbians. Oh, the two lesbians.
In European
Oh my
countries.
God! Yes,
Yeah.
that's
And
crazy.
The
lesbians
two,
can fight.
for those of you who don't know in the audience, there were two women on a bus, riding a bus, minding their own business, and a group of youths tried to get them to kiss each other, and they said no, and they got beat up
Or not
That's
kissing.
for not kissing.
That is
That's
disgusting.
disgusting.
Which is like, wait a minute, why are straight men so enamored with watching women kiss? I don't understand. As a gay man, I have seen two women kiss.
And it don't do
It don't, and it's not that it doesn't do a thing. I don't know.
It's
The
just-
type of women that we're usually used to see, that's not attractive at
Like
all.
construction workers.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Y'all are usually, I'm usually the one that says shit like this.
It
And I'm
confuses me
offended that y'all
sometimes.
said it.
Mhm.
Like generally, like the type of guys that I like,
Mhm.
I'll see a construction worker, and you see that big reflective vest,
Mhm.
like
And then he-
big sturdy
then he takes his
legs,
hat
and
off.
big ass,
Mhm.
and like the short hair under the hard hat. Turns around, no Adam's apple. Damn it!
Mhm. Do you know how many times I have been? I went to a. Are there any lesbian bars left in Houston?
No.
There's Pearl on Washington.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
That's the only one I know about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember
okay.
back in the days when Kindred Spirits was the only one. In
Yeah,
town.
exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
chaos.
And that, if I'm not mistaken, it opened about 2 years. Well, when they first moved Pride to downtown, that's when Pearl got kind of popular. And I think it had opened maybe a month or two before that.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a major influx of lesbian bars in the 90s
Mm-hmm.
where we had the bar. What was that? Shit, now I can't remember the name.
There used to be one over by where it was across the street from Mary's, back when Mary's was Mary's.
Yes, it was
And it
right
was
there.
Charlie's, and they turned into
And then
a
it
lesbian
was Charlie's
bar.
Cafe, and then it turned into
To
a lesbian bar. Y'all forgive me if I don't know the names of
Clams.
lesbian bars.
Because they've been,
Because-
we didn't frequent them.
We don't frequent them, and they don't
I
want us
remember,
there anyway.
right, but I remember Kindred Spirits being like
Kindred Spirits
the
was
place.
so popular that they still have to this day. And we've mentioned it on the show before. They still have to this day a reunion.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Wow.
a
Interesting.
reunion every year
And then there
of
used to
Kindred
be,
Spirits patrons
and
that were faithful patrons.
there used to be a lesbian bar at the ranch. Back when,
The Ranch.
They
Ranch
had,
was a
like-
lesbian bar.
yeah,
Yeah, it was called The Ranch, and I'd never been.
but it was like a whole bunch of different clubs in like one place. It was really cool.
It was like the
really
gay
cool.
'90s in Minneapolis.
Actually, it was. Actually, it was in the
It
90s.
was actually the gay
yeah,
90s,
It was
right?
in the 90s. Yeah, it was
Really
like
gay?
one
Yeah.
building had like all the gay men with their shirts off, and then you had the country bar with all the lesbians trying to do their whatever.
You know,
they
when
do.
I was a
It
kid,
was just-
my aunt, she said, I know you're gay. I'm like, what? And I was 15. And she said, I know you're gay. I'm like, I am. And she was a hairdresser. She's like, I'm a hairdresser. I know gay people. I work with gay people. She said, do you want to go to a bar? I'm like, hell yeah. So we went to a bar in Ybor City called Guadalajara. Yes, bitch. And they had everything. The bar was huge. And they literally had
So you got some Mexican
different bars,
chorizo.
3 different bars in one place. It's really quite interesting
That's the way the ranch was.
because you could do.
Yes.
There's drag going on in one bar. There's drag and disco in the other bar where everybody's dancing.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever seen a little person that was gay, and they were lesbians. They were lesbian little people. But that was Tampa, Florida, and you know
And that was in the 90s too.
yeah, but Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey has a a whole school out there. So I'm sure they were probably going to school.
Well, not because they're little people. They work
yes, bitch. Little
lesbian
people have a hard time finding work.
No, and I know. Oh,
unless
true. And back then, I'm sure it was a little bit harder.
And shit like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, you could do a
That
whole
makes
episode
sense.
on Old Houston.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be great colonoscopy.
That would be.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a whole episode on Old Houston.
Yeah,
Back
that
when
was Tampa.
it was Riches,
but
then it was Mecca, then it was Riches again.
Then
Then it was something else.
Then
Then
it
it
was
was
Club
Riches.
Hedonism.
Club
Oh, he is on
Hedonism.
Thursday nights.
And
Yes.
Mecca
Riches.
again. We could actually have. Listen, I have work ties with that man, the owner.
Uh-huh.
We could actually have him over here and talk to him
So we
about
could talk
why
about-
he
We
changed
could
his
talk about
name all
back,
the time.
before South Beach was South Beach, it was heaven. You remember drinking with Lincoln?
Oh, you were
Those were the days.
You were going to say,
Yeah.
Carla?
Yeah, I was gonna say that the first club that I ever went to, gay club, by the way. I think I was about 18 or 19, and it was with this girl that kind of was bi-curious, if you will. And she was a lot older than me, probably like 10 years older. And I went to Richie's. And what is it? San Jacinto Street?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the first place I ever went. And of course, me being still in the closet and whatnot, I go to the bathroom. For my surprise, I see men and women there. And I'm like, am I in the right place?
You're in the right place, girl, yeah.
But it was so much fun. It was,
There's a lesbian at
There's a
the
lesbian.
urinal next to you, and you're like,
ooh, she's going to watch me.
Did you ever go, Pinky, to, have you ever been to Mecca or
I've
Club
been to-
Hedonism or Riches?
I went for their big invite only not Mardi Gras. They do. Is it Mardi Gras when they do the big party there? It's invite only.
It's usually the weekend after Mardi Gras.
Right.
Louis weekend, Let Us Entertain You.
Oh, is it Louis?
Yeah,
Yeah,
usually,
Okay,
yeah.
So it's invite only, and so that was a really neat experience.
That's
Great.
what that stands
Great.
for. I did not know that Louis stood for
Let
that.
us
It's always
entertain
after.
you.
It's always the weekend after
Yeah.
Mardi Gras. Yeah.
Mhm.
Means that the bartenders from New Orleans come to Houston
I
and let us entertain you now because you entertained
Oh,
us
that's
last
very
week.
interesting.
Yeah, that's the
I
history of Louis
actually did
weekend.
not know that.
I had a good
That's the
last
history of
Louis
Louis
weekend. I spent at when the ripcord was the ripcord,
Still ripcord.
bitch.
Mhm.
Were you
When the
there when the
ripcord
patio
was
collapsed?
fabulous, and everybody was having sex on the patio.
Well, the girl, those
That
were
was the
Those
good old
were the
those were the
days.
long ago days.
Yeah.
You can't do that no
Some
more.
disgruntled
Right, Joel? You can't do that anymore?
No, you can't do that anymore. I am the victim of that, yes.
Yeah. Some
Let me tell you,
some
They-
disgruntled queen turned him in because she was mad because nobody wanted to trick with a ugly ass. So anyway.
Well, it's not her.
No,
fault,
no,
it's
but
ABC's
I've gone to
fault.
Ripcord, and of course, it's not as popular as it used to be. But whenever you go to the patio, like around 1, 2 a.m., you'll still see people having some action.
Definitely.
Maybe
still
not
doing blowjobs.
fully naked, but you'll still see
Oh,
people.
no, and nobody got fully naked. You can damn
No, they're definitely still doing blowjobs.
Joel's still not there, though.
Listen,
Yeah.
I don't even know.
No jumps and ringing. I've
I'm
seen
going to spill her tea,
I don't
but...
know. The last time I was there, men were fully naked, getting blowjobs. It was what a good time.
the first time I
That's what I'm saying, Randy. That was the 90s. That was the 90s back then. It was a very hedonistic time.
Were they wearing a jockstrap and a harness?
No, girl, it was 2011.
What?
I'm not kidding.
Did
Yeah,
harnesses and jockstraps go out of style?
No.
Yeah, in 2000. No, unless it's Louis weekend, of course,
It's
there were
big for
harnesses and
leather.
jockstraps.
And
But,
everything.
but beyond Louis weekend, the bar was jeans and t-shirts. Unless there was.
Well, I used to work at the Eagle, so I get
celebration.
the whole leather bar,
Mhm.
denim and
Is the Eagle
White
still
shirt.
open?
Denim and leather.
the Eagle in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It is not an
It's where
actual leather
611
bar.
used to be.
It is
Yeah, I know
not.
exactly
I
what it
miss
is.
611.
I miss 611.
It's still yeah.
For all
Boy, that place
for
showed
all of
instinct.
our listeners, for all of our
It's so
listeners
great, though, for that
who don't
purpose.
know
Yeah.
where we're talking about local bars in Houston because we're all Houston people. So I just want to make sure you understand we're not trying to leave you out, but guess what? You out.
And let's clarify,
should've been there. You should've been
there's
there.
more than one Houston in the U.S., so let's
Right.
clarify. Houston, Texas.
And we're not leaving you out.
That's right. That's right.
We're including you in our
including you
memories.
in-
We're
We're
trying to
enticing
include
you to come and visit.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Do I look like Julie McCoy?
There are so many people who know who
Fine.
there are so many people who do not know who that is, girl.
Randy is not.
I had to think about it first. Who is he talking about?
Julie McCoy, Love Boat, Google it.
That was the 80s,
Love
girl.
Boat, Google it. But that poor bitch,
Yeah.
she was on so much coke back in the day. She had lost
And you
her
know
job.
this because
I read the Inquirer.
Oh,
I don't know what the
okay.
hell you talking about.
Oh, well, it must be true then. Then it must be true.
Yeah, can you equivalent to unicorn
When I was a
news.
little girl, I read the Inquirer, and they said somebody's
Did they?
sailing through a lot of icy waters, a lot of snow. Turns out it was Julie McCoy.
Okay.
Well, to get back on the subject,
What subject
because
are we on?
because we got lost
Subject.
talking about lesbian bars after we just talked about two women getting beat up. We started talking about lesbian
Trying not
bars.
to-
By the way,
It is open for
my little thing was the last time I went to a lesbian bar, I kept trying to pick up guys, and they weren't guys, and I was super confused.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I mean, there was one. She was so hot, and she had no breasts whatsoever.
Fucking Amazon.
And I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna go talk to this guy, and sure enough, was not a guy. But we became good drinking buddies that night. We had
Right.
such a good time. Because
Arm
I'm
wrestling
not.
and whatever lesbians do at the bar.
Yes, we
Because I don't just
heard-
walk up and look under somebody's neck and go, "Is Adam's apple or no?" No.
Fluffy
And
guys.
let me tell you, not all men have Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Not
it's
obvious Adam's apple.
not all of them do.
Not
I've never been
obvious.
able to see my Adam's apple.
Well, and that's just the other thing I was gonna say.
Well-
is like fluffy guys is harder to tell.
Yeah, because you can't tell that mine is there, but it is somewhere in there.
Like, it's-
Well, if you
even
look
the
if you
boobs-
look at
inside
any
the
one of my
fluffiness.
chins, I'm sure you'd find one
Right.
outside.
like, can I take your?
We're on the same page, so.
Just look underneath one of my chins.
That's not the place to take the pulse.
It is if you want to check right Adam's apple.
So I want to show everybody at the table this horrific picture
I'm gonna have
because
to flag
I
one.
think we need to
Somebody's
understand
ass.
exactly who we are when it comes to the rest of the world.
I saw that
mercy.
post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that had happened in
Where is
Houston.
this kid at? Where's
This is in England.
Right. No, if that had happened in Houston.
Well, most likely in
I'd have
London.
been-
This is in London.
I've been
Mhm.
doing a sunshine thing and like starting up a strike back crew
But here was
in our
the
black hoodies.
here was the thing that really made me just go, okay, girl, we got you. She said, let me scroll down here now.
And by the way, Joel says she, fun and love for our friends
We all
who
gay.
are gay.
We are gay.
And
If
so
we have to explain
if
that,
you're
bitch.
that, no, there are a lot of people who are particular about she and he, and the truth is, we're just embracing him and loving him as a friend. And when I call you she, guess what, bitch? You are my friend.
Embracing who as a friend? I'm sorry. We call it.
Oh,
he
and
or
I
she.
wanted to thank you for that because I wanted to, we use the term bitch a lot, and I think, especially among gay men, when we call each other bitches out of love.
Yes.
We don't mean no harm by it, but we
Well, to your face, but
yeah,
behind your back.
I like to specifically spell it with
But what-
E to denote the funness.
Yes,
like that.
exactly.
Oh, bitch.
But honestly, if you hear the term "sweetie" come out of our mouth, you might
Right.
want to walk away because
Right.
you're about to get red.
Or honey.
That's-
Girlfriend.
That's
Or
some, that's some,
Girl.
no,
Okay.
girl is fine.
Girl is fine.
Girl,
but
makes
But
sense.
girlfriend,
especially in
Girlfriend is
now
not
we
a
about to
good-
get
yeah.
ready.
I'm about to take my pumps off
Yeah,
here.
I'm about to
exactly.
rock
All right, so
your
Joel,
world.
let's let Joel tell us the story.
But at the end of all, here's what he said at the end. He said, "Stand strong and love yourself. This isn't gonna stop me from being fabulous. Being gay is okay." And I said, "You go, bitch.
Go on, girl.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Yes, ma'am."
That's what I'm talking about. And guess what?
And-
Guess what? We're in London. We're all over Europe. We're all over the world. So we support you, and you can always come out here and hang with us.
And to be quite honest, this also happened in Austin last year too. There was a gay couple walking down the street holding hands, minding their
True, that
own
is correct.
business,
I saw that post too.
and they got beat up
They got beat up.
on the street. And I'm like, especially when I know everybody gets tired of hearing about this, but when everybody keeps talking about all the straight pride crap, when I can walk down the street with my man and not get beat up, we'll have a straight pride parade for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I applaud that.
Thank you.
That's
When I am
good
not
logic.
showing the people at this table a picture of a guy who was minding his own business getting beat up because he was being gay, he was being himself, then we'll have a straight pride parade. Otherwise,
And it's about tolerance. If you fear what's different from you, you're always going to have that animosity towards what's not normal to you. But we have to stop looking at the differences and just celebrate
people living
their lives, being free, being who you want to be. What's wrong with that?
And forgive me, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but on that level, I guess it is about tolerance.
It is.
Because what else can you do other than tell these people, mind your own fucking business and just tolerate gay people. If nothing else, tolerate them. I don't want to be tolerated. I want people to know I am gay, and girl, you know they know it. But wherever I go.
But I do have to say this.
I don't like being tolerated. But it's a level that when it comes to the level of violence and you want to hit somebody, hit yourself.
Hit the Weezer.
Hit Weezer. Hit White Yard. Hit Weezer. You know what I mean? That falls under the definition of tolerance. Stop. Think. You're affecting somebody's life, and you could kill somebody. Stop and think. So tolerate.
And something that I do want to mention. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
No worries.
But I want to mention it because I think that tolerance and acceptance starts with us. The reason I mention that is because if you go to any club, if you are on any of the apps, Grindr, Growler, Adam and Adam, or whichever, we discriminate against each other a lot.
No Asians, no blacks.
Right.
No fats.
If it's not because you're too fat, you're too thin, if it's not because you're too old, you're too young, if we just learn to accept each other, and there's nothing wrong with saying no to somebody, but you don't have to insult them.
Exactly.
Just say thank you for the attention. I'm not interested.
Right.
That's all you have to do.
That's all you have to do.
You don't have to call their defects, whether they're young, old, broke, rich.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Pinky is about to explode here.
Those are not defects.
No, he's not saying they're defects.
No. But
and that mindset and people like highlighting that and like it being addressed as a defect is part of that issue. And I think people take offense to that and kind of react in a situation where somebody is being perfectly
correct. And the reason I use that word is because that's how people view it. So I have to use a word that's going to relate to
right. No, I'm just saying like
trying to send a message.
No, I understand that completely. I'm just saying like,
but I agree they're not necessarily
don't react like they are, or if you have that mentality, like you think that you are defective based on said criteria. You
look like every time you said the word tolerate, you wanted to explode.
I don't like tolerate. I don't like tolerate either.
Hold on, let's do it. Every time the word was said,
it's more of acceptance, I guess.
But I hate tolerate, and I held it back. But
right,
Charles, Pinky can't hold it back.
It started with Carlos when he said that we need to address, stop breaking up and recognizing differences, and I think that that's the opposite way, because I've mentioned the minority of one theory. I guess I
remember that.
I've brought up before, and it's like if we start doing that and we really start recognizing people on an individual basis and breaking it down to all of the reasons that we are different, it then becomes one person versus the rest of the room for everyone. There are no groups. There's no banding together, and yes, it becomes this crazy Venn diagram where there's maybe a couple similarities that these people share and whatnot, but there are no banding. There's no one trait that becomes more important. There is no this that is more valuable. They are just individuals, and every individual is one part of that versus everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's a better way. I think that's the answer. While that may not be realistic because we are so have it ingrained in us to be like, I'm gay, I'm black, I'm, a girl, I'm a lesbian, I'm a, this, that, and the other, and we so need to belong to these groups.
Right.
That we're not going to give them up for the greater good.
It's natural for human beings to want to be with people they feel like they belong with.
Absolutely. 100%
And it is
And nothing wrong with that.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No.
There really isn't.
No.
But that shouldn't give you the right to discriminate others just because they're different. So that's very important. And I guess my message at the end of the day is, if we want to break off of this craziness, it has to start with us. If we break this habit, we're not going to pass it on to the next generation.
Well, my problem with that philosophy is that these rogue people who beat this guy up, they don't give a shit about us. They don't, and they don't tolerate anything. And frankly, like I said, I don't want to be tolerated. But guess what? Guess what? I win because they're not tolerating, and they're beating people up for no reason other than the fact that they hate, and you can't stop hate. Hate is something that we'll never, ever, ever get a hold of.
Yeah, because
we'll never understand.
We'll literally find something else to hate.
I
We'll
hate to
never
be so
understand
dismal about
that.
this. I really...
These guys beat that guy up because, and here's
to
my
say that it's
opinion.
always going to exist.
Here's
Here's
my
such a
opinion.
dismal outlook on it.
Here's my opinion. On a psychological level, they wanted to fuck him. They hated what they saw because he's a good-looking kid. And they probably thought, you know what?
Some
And a lot of
internal
times-
homophobia.
And a lot of the
that
most
kind of
homophobic
homophobia.
people sometimes are
Just
It's
they
latent
call it
homosexuality.
gay
Yeah.
panic
Yeah.
in this country.
I've never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gay
It's
panic.
I've
actually
Panic
a
has
legal
been a
defense in
defense
some states.
in this country.
That's very
Oh
interesting.
yes,
Some states.
they call it a gay panic.
Well, no, I mean, I
And
understand
so
that.
they look at
science
this
behind
guy.
it.
He's amiable, looking. He's like, oh well. They look at him and think,
I think a better
he
example sometimes might be.
he might be up to fucking around. Guess what? Let's beat him down so we don't have to
I
do
think
that.
a good example is, I apologize for being a
That's not a good
political
example.
political junkie, but
Go for it.
you think about all the Republicans who are anti-homosexuality, and you come in, and a few years later they come out.
Right, exactly.
So I think it could apply.
Yeah,
it could
exactly.
apply.
Or they end up like in court because they got found in court.
Exactly.
so
Doing
many
things that they should be doing in the bathroom.
with little boys
Exactly.
underage.
Yes.
There are so many
Yes.
people who are just.
Disgusting.
These people are triggers. Gay people are triggers for them, and so I'd be careful. What I'm saying is, it's just really scary that people can be triggered by somebody, because that's like I said, a good-looking guy, a good-looking kid, and so they know he's gay in their minds. He never said anything. He never did anything to him, but they did it because I'm sorry, I so did it. They wanted to fuck him.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I didn't read the article that. I don't know.
Well, I read enough of it to know is that they hurled gay slurs at him.
Right.
And
Well, it's definitely a hate crime. I just meant like
and
how it went down before the fight happened.
once again, I think I explained the term bitches, so I don't have to go down this road again.
No.
But this bitch walked up to them and said, you don't do that. You don't scream, you don't call people
Good for her.
slurs.
Oh yeah.
And then when she turned around, somebody hit her in the back of the head and then beat her up.
Yeah. Okay. So that's.
And
totally
the thing
different.
is like I said, I know this sounds like a dismal subject, but it's getting better.
Right.
It really is getting better. I mean, the majority of people accept us.
And it's like Carlos
Oh,
said.
yeah.
It's permeating from each one of us to change.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the Debbie Downer here. I don't know that it's getting better. I think it's underreported. especially when you look at countries like Kenya and Saudi Arabia and all those
Globally,
other-
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, where it's still,
globally, yeah.
where it's still
We're
illegal
working
to
on
be gay
that.
or whatever.
We are global, and we are working on that. And guess what?
I just
we
think
gonna
it's
get there.
I just think it's severely
especially with
underreported.
Joel
I'm not sure
trying
that's going
to-
away.
Yeah.
Incite wars and shit. I don't know if y'all have heard the past episodes where Joel's like, "Stand up,
Well, and there
stand up." I'm like,
there is like
this bitch is going to create a civil
World War
war
III.
in the country.
That's
my God.
fine.
Which is good. Which is good.
Long as gays come out on top, I'm okay with
Thank
that.
you.
And just remember, just because you are on top doesn't make you a top.
I was going to ask. What they want to be on top, you know?
Good
No, I mean,
one.
and I think that's something to address as well. And there's a certain amount of masculinity, I think, that goes into those things not being reported. You know, because if they are in the closet, if somebody did find this out, or they're in that type of situation, it's like they're not going to say anything about it
Exactly.
because they don't want to, you know.
I don't know that it's, I guess my point is I don't know that it's going away. I just think that it's not being reported.
Right, because it makes you less of a man to get your ass beat or whatever. You know, especially if you're gay, it's like it just exacerbates like how
if you don't,
subpar as a man.
Yeah, because
if you know, like if you had like a
quote,
news
are.
channel that had like gay reporters in these countries where it's illegal to be gay,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
can find out just exactly how underreported it actually
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
because it's because I remember that was it the president of Iran a few years ago says he was talking to a university and he goes, we have no homosexuals in Iran, and then the whole crowd just burst out in laughter.
That was
Ahmadinejad, yes, Ahmadinejad, and he was, I believe he was.
I need a dinner jacket.
I remember he was speaking to an American
They used to
university.
call him
Was it an American university?
Yeah, it was an American.
On the View, Whoopi Goldberg called him, girl, I can't say it anymore. I'm just going to say, I need a dinner jacket.
It was Ahmadinejad, and he was speaking to a university crowd, and he goes, we have no homosexuals in Iran. And the whole group just burst out laughing.
Like we're laughing now.
Right. So I think that, I guess I think that if you had people who were like on the ground who could actually report to find that it's not going away. It's not going away. It may even be on the increase for all we know. It's just so severely underreported.
Well, because now it gets, you get internet famous.
Right.
If you end up perpetrating one of these crimes.
Right, and I think that for us as Americans, we have an openly gay man running for president, and so we don't think about these things. We forget that there's a whole world outside our 50 states.
But I have to say that I'm very proud of our country because
Oh, we've come a long way.
we don't care if he's gay or not. It's
No,
about
in fact,
the
in fact,
issues.
the real news channels, not
Yeah,
Fox.
it's about the issues.
The real news channels
not
don't
Fox.
even. It's not. It doesn't even come up. Nobody brings it up.
Even on Fox, it's not
No,
really
Fox
that much of a
doesn't
big
care.
deal.
Fox
You've been watching
never-
Fox lately?
Not at all.
I watch it every
Well, I
morning with my
expect you to.
father.
You're the right
No,
person.
but I watch it every morning with my
You're-
father, and guess what?
You're
They
go Trump.
never
I
mention-
expect you to watch Fox.
No, they never mention his homosexuality. Ever. It's all about the issues.
Not anymore.
I remember when-
They've been getting a lot of heat about it over
Well,
the
but I
last
remember
couple of years.
when Sam Shepard came out and the whole channel almost went ballistic.
I know. Sam
When
just...
since
I
then
don't
they've
know.
done like Fox Presents, Rocky Horror Picture Show
You watch
live.
Fox, you should know who Sam
I don't
Shepard
watch
is.
Presents, right?
I don't
live.
watch that closely.
Like
You
we
do
don't
that well.
homosexuals. Don't stop watching our
You do that
channel.
well.
No, I don't watch
And they
that closely.
ruined both of them.
I'm eating my eggs and trying to get back and watch Wendy Williams. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And I'm
Just
not a
flipping through the
political
channels,
person.
huh?
Oh, I don't flip through the channels. That's
She
where
knows
I-
exactly where they're at.
Listen, I go to breakfast. I get my little breakfast tray. My father makes breakfast. Bacon, eggs, sausage, whatever, grits. Girl, I love me some grits.
Okay,
Those are so
Whatever.
disgusting.
And then he comes to me, he brings the plate, sets it down, and we're watching Fox. I don't have a problem with Fox News at all.
Because it's not news, it's entertainment. No wonder you like it.
Girl.
Right. It's ratings.
Anyway, the point is, we watch.
This is from the
I
person
go
that gets most of her
and
news
watch
from E!
Wendy
Entertainment.
Williams.
So.
No, not
I
E!
watch
No.
Scooby.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No,
Not E!
not
It's-
E!
what is
Entertainment.
it?
You did not say that to
CNN.
Randy. It's
Anderson Cooper.
Inside Edition.
Anderson
I love
Cooper.
Inside Edition.
Yes, that's what we were saying.
Blitzer.
She said that you were watching E! Entertainment. I'm like, no, this bitch is
Inside
watching
Edition, but
Inside
that's at 3
Edition.
o'clock. That's at 3:30, actually.
Oh, dear God.
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Don't read me because I sit down and have breakfast with my dad.
I ain't reading you at all.
Reading you sit down and watch Fox
News. That's why we're reading. We're not with your dad.
But he
damn
Other than grits, I mean,
But you heard what he said.
grits are unnatural.
It's on the
Grits are
TV.
disgusting.
It's on the TV. He goes, okay, it's Fox. Then he goes into his room and watches Wendy Williams, and he's happy for the rest of the day. He's ecstatic the rest of the day.
Honestly.
Although I don't know why Wendy Williams, I can't stand her. I'm sorry.
I know,
sweetie.
I'm just sitting here looking like, it's a man, it's a man, it's a man.
Ooh, that's insulting. Don't say that.
But I love it.
You know, don't
you don't.
say
The thing
that.
about Wendy that I love.
Terrible liar.
I love Wendy because she kind of has my fantasy job where you read everybody, every celebrity, girl, she reads them.
No, you got a podcast
she
every
says-
week. You can read whatever you want to read.
Joel and I made a decision that we're not going to make it about politics. I mean, not politics. Well, certainly not politics.
Celebrities.
But celebrities, too. Yeah, we're not going to do that.
But
When y'all first started, y'all showed it.
last
first
week.
episodes, yeah.
Well, time out. I
Last
consider Wendy a celebrity.
We're all talking over each other, so let's
Sorry.
listen to
Okay,
Carlos.
sorry.
Carlos.
Well, I don't think Wendy is a celebrity. I mean, she was a DJ and she's on TV, but that's about it.
I mean, what makes you a fucking celebrity?
Randy did
That's a
it.
talking point, and you know what? You should actually. You know what? You should make that one of those. What is it called on the internet when you do that thing that you do where you
Like,
want
I mean,
no,
Thumbs up.
where you want people to listen to the
Friender.
show. Make it one of those snatch sort
Double
of
clip.
statements. We say, I don't think Wendy's actually a celebrity, and
That sounds like starting a fight.
Yes, and that's what starting a fight does.
That's poking the bear. That's the only thing I can think of.
I
Ain't nothing
think
wrong
you're
with
talking
that.
about a meme, but yeah,
No,
I on Twitter actually that would be more of a tweet than anything else.
Yep.
And with a little bit of a video with somebody going,
Spreaker would-
And that would be us. That would be us going.
Right, or a GIF.
Bitch, please.
Or
then our
us
podcast
going. She said it.
Everybody pointing at each other.
Not me.
And we're all
Not
just,
me.
we're just sipping our tea like,
but we, you know what? But we have talked about something. Last week. We talked about Ariana and all the stuff that was going. Once again, let me tell y'all something. Don't y'all dare accuse this woman ever again of blackface. Don't do that. Don't y'all do that. This girl is Italian. She turns brown when she gets in the sun.
Yes,
They don't have nothing to do with.
Regurgitate this.
Yeah, no.
Oh no, we're not. I'm just making it a point.
He's
Y'all
right.
leave her alone.
He's right.
I'm going to go back to the global. So since we were talking about global and like homosexuality on a global scale, I just want to, I got a notification, I forget what it was, I think it was on Instagram, that Houston has actually been nominated as a candidate for Global Pride.
World Pride.
World
Yeah,
Pride.
World Pride.
2023.
It's World Pride.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Pride, that's all.
I can't wait for that.
You know, that goes back to Anise Parker. That's Anise Parker's doing. You know, sometimes projects that happen start
Years
early,
ahead, right.
and then they blossom.
Did she start that?
So yeah, no,
Well,
I said
I don't-
Anise Parker.
I know. Did
She
she
may-
start that?
She may have gotten the ball rolling,
I
maybe,
think
but
she
I don't
did.
think she had a whole lot to do with it as much as the current Pride Committee has to do with it.
Right. Pride Houston.
But don't even get me started on Pride Houston. I have hardly anything good to say about the organization as a whole.
We're not going to start on Pride Houston. 'Cause,
Well,
girl, that's going to open up
years-
a lot of discussion between Joel and I, and we've had it on the air before.
On the air before.
Well,
Right.
wait a minute now, because
Uh-oh, here we go.
Oh, there we
when
go.
you talk
Everybody.
to two
Hands in the air.
when you talk to, there are two people at this table who can talk about Pride Houston because they were a part of Pride Houston.
Yes.
We weren't a part of Pride Houston,
No.
so they know the ins and outs. He has an understanding of why Pride Houston is not that great.
Yeah,
you
the
have an
commercialism
understanding
of
of why it might be great.
Of why it's, there's some redeemability, I guess. And I won't speak or put any of them on a pedestal. But
By far, they should not be on one.
I agree.
But because I know that for a few years, Pride Houston was not my favorite organization, and they have gotten better.
They're still not.
but by how much? Not really a lot.
I can appreciate all the work that they do to put the parade on, and then put the festival on. But the organization itself, who does it, the only three voting members on the committee who have any say at all. Imagine being an organization that brings in $700,000-800,000 a year in revenue, and having a board of three.
Is it revenue
people.
though?
All right,
Their taxes are online, so you look. Their taxes are online, so you look see like their latest taxes. You can completely see all the revenue, and then they pay out. It's a profitable organization, but my whole beef is it's just three people who make decisions. So it's kind of like, let's say we have a table of 5 people, and only me, Joel, and Randy make all the decisions.
Right.
It's just ridiculous, especially for an especially for an organization that has over 500 volunteers. Just to put on the parade and the festival, and you've got 3 people who are calling shots. I just think it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, honestly, it could use a lot of fixing.
They're not 501c3.
They are 501c3.
Okay,
and you can go online and see the taxes and everything.
Right.
It's readily open for the past several years. Right, and if you go to the website, you can see the tax assessment, and they make some. They make some. Good donations and things like that. But that's not really the point of what I'm saying. Is it's the infrastructure, as you said.
Right.
It's 3 people control everything.
Myopic. As far as
and for something that's supposed to be like a volunteer organization, for 3 people to have so much, 3 people to have so much say, I just think that's a lot of power in just a few hands.
Right, and you think about if these 3 people can do and make the impact they can, why can we not accept the fact that if there were 12 people on this committee, how much more exorbitant
or
the impact
even
and
diverse
benefit? Right.
Okay, I love both of you guys, and those are good points, but guess what? Sri Lanka doesn't give a shit.
I don't know anyone.
I don't either. Yeah,
I don't.
I agree.
Girl.
I agree. This is one of those.
Don't read.
Well, no, I agree. It's like a first world problem, and I get that.
No, bitch. I failed geography.
It's on the other side of the world.
Geography. I know it is, but we're part of. Listen, they listen to us. I failed geography because I had a coach who wore really tight coach's shorts.
Oh Lord God!
And he had that big old dick. All I could do was stare at that dick.
So she failed geography because of a man.
Sit in class I'd blow your whistle.
Mm-hmm. She failed geography because of a man.
I don't think nobody forced your mate. You just volunteered.
Right, exactly.
Because we were talking about Pride Houston.
Where does Sri Lanka come from?
We have to include that.
Okay, but I'm not including New York Pride. So why am I including?
I have no idea.
No, but the truth is, we need to move on to subjects that people around the world can appreciate.
No.
Okay.
What are they talking about in Sri Lanka then?
Bitch, I don't know.
What if they're trying? What if they get inspiration to have a pride parade because of us here in Houston?
You know what?
I'm just saying.
Well, if they listen to you because they like what you're talking about,
some sort of other thing than the pride parade.
Well, get your idea dick out of here.
I'm just saying.
It's just we need to maybe talk about something more.
Okay, I have a topic.
Okay,
go for it.
Okay. Joel not here, so you got to
inject it in us. David.
Okay, here it comes.
He wants it.
When you guys are terrible. When you guys go out on a date, do you go on a date for Mr. Right or for Mr. Right now? Randy?
I've never been on a date, honey. I've always
never been on a date.
Tricks.
I think it's.
I went on one date. His name was Jeff Probst. It's weird because he's the producer. He's the producer of
I know that name.
He's
what's it?
Survivor. Yeah, Survivor.
But that's not the guy. Anyway,
you only wish.
Right to go through all of that.
My Jeff Probst was an electrical engineer, and the reason I say it that way is because of All in the Family and Lionel. Anyway, y'all watch All in the Family and see what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I met him at Club Houston.
Which isn't really a club.
He was very sweet. He took me to the back street cafe, and then we went home to his house where his cat watched every move we made. Made me very nervous. The cat even got in the shower with us. It was weird.
That is
totally.
I was
weird.
Right on point. I understood everything because cats do that.
So basically,
getting in the shower, cats don't like getting wet.
It's not all of them.
There's something up with that
I've seen a couple of cats.
And then the cat was, I'm not kidding, in the windowsill above the bed, I'm not saying I slept with him, but the cat was in the windowsill above the bed.
So you slept with him.
So the moral of the story is that you literally had pussy everywhere. And you had it. Oh, and you even had some wet pussy.
Right.
At one
Yeah, I
point.
suppose because of the
Yes.
shower.
Mhm.
I'm not kidding. The cat
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth.
went through
No
the
offense
curtain.
to anyone with pussies.
The cat
but
went
yes.
through the curtain in
Stapling
his
it back.
shower, and there he was. I'm like, oh my gosh, really?
Mhm.
And the cat's name was Boo Boo.
So that was like Mr. Right or Mr. Right Now?
Mr. Right, I never saw
okay.
him again because he had a.
Okay, that was Mr. Right
It
Now.
starts off as
Yeah,
Club Houston. It's
there's
not
never
like
been not.
fireworks.
There's never not been a Mr. Right
It
now.
started in Club Houston. It is never Mr. Right
That's fair.
in that place.
Yeah.
Period.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Although I've met some guys that I'd be like,
We met him.
But-
And where are they now?
Now,
So when we come
as I
back,
know them right then.
so when we come back, I want to hear those stories because I have a story to tell you
Ooh.
about a couple and a bathhouse. So we'll be right back after these messages because I have to insert commercials so this show can make some money. So we'll be right back.
we need more tea anyway. So, and guess what? Bitches make.
Hello, everybody. This is Carlos, and I am here with Joel and Randy's Texas Tea. We are back from a break.
Yes.
Commercials.
But yes, because commercials.
Drink refills.
And we need a drink refills. You know, I got my giant polar ice cup so that I can make sure that my Texas tea slowly goes through the show instead of having them in like my little glasses before because then I'd go, gulp. And then at the end of the show, I'm like, thanks a lot. Everybody get out. I'm going to bed.
I can translate for you if you like. I speak Joel fluently. If Marcus is here, we could call it something else. Starts with Homer.
Homer Simpson.
Yes, that's Marcus. That's Marcus. I've never done it.
So
And
back to
We've been to the bars together. I've never said those words. But
I
I'm
have
like,
often.
girl. Anyway.
anyways, back to Mr. White's question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr.
So when you got
Right.
on date, is it are you dating for Mr. Right or are you dating for Mr. Right now?
Me?
I don't know where we left off.
Yeah, I've always had tricks.
You said you've never been on dates. So.
No, I've had that one date. But I like tricks. But I like extended tricks where for 5 years, like I was with
Wow.
one guy for 5 years, and what we did was we would meet twice a week, and the other guy that I was with for 3 years, we met twice a week.
Oh, no.
There's just nothing, no ties, no bullshit.
It was all sex.
It was all sex. It was,
I will say that I am not against the Mr. Right Now. I'm a zero agenda type. Like, and people, you always get that question like, so what are you looking for on here? And I generally, when they ask me that question, I say my keys. Because I'm always looking for my fucking keys. But no, I mean, I don't have any agenda. It's like, life is going to wash over you and happen to you as it does, whether you like it or not, one way or the other. I would say that it depends on what's going on in my life. Like, if I'm busy like I am now, like, I've kind of, like, written off relationship potential for the most part because I don't feel like I have what I believe it is deserving a relationship needs of me to put into. So I don't think it's fair for me to engage in that with somebody.
I'm going to throw this in here real quick, Miss Pinky. The best relationship that you need to have and everybody at this table needs to have is with yourself.
That is correct.
Before you can get into a relationship with anybody else,
True.
you need to have
And
a
it's
good
funny that
relationship with yourself.
I call him Mr. Michigan
There you go.
because he's shaped like Michigan.
and
I've
what
heard
you
this.
saying,
Mm-hmm.
Carlos?
No, I was just gonna say I was thinking the exact same thing when Joel just said that. You know, you have to be in a relationship with yourself first. And I heard this. I think I follow this guy. I think he's Indian, if I'm not mistaken. And so he talks about the fact that you have to learn how to love yourself first. You have to learn
The guy
how
on Facebook?
to yes,
Yeah,
I follow
know who
him.
you're talking about. Joel
So-
got me following.
Okay, so he talks about the fact that we have to learn what's our favorite color. What is it that moves us? What is our goals before we try to learn somebody else's? Because if you don't know how to love yourself, how are you going to expect for somebody to love you?
Exactly.
And I know it sounds kind of trivial, but it is true.
It sounds very cliche, but it's
But it is
absolutely
true.
true.
It is
does
true.
sound cliche, but it is true. And so here's the thing with me. I've never met anybody, I guess. I don't know. My thing is, have I met people that would have wanted to have a relationship and push them away? Because I'm not easy to live with. Oh, can you imagine?
But see, that's
Surprise!
So
Surprise!
maybe I pushed them away, and maybe not. I don't know.
Right.
You know, that one trick may have been the one, but I just regarded him as nothing
Right.
but a trick.
That's another interesting topic.
True.
But
well. Now that we've had some Randy time,
we love Randy's story time.
Wait! Did we get an answer out of Joel on this question?
we did not get it. No, you did not get an answer out of me.
I didn't do anything.
No, I'm
wrong.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Joel's tried to
Joel,
skip.
the question
Joel's
is
trying to
right.
skip over him.
Okay.
Go on.
When it comes down to that, I think of where I'm at now as where I was before. Now it's like, I wouldn't mind. It would be cute. But what annoys me the most, especially, and I don't mean no harm, I have lots of heterosexual friends. So for you heterosexuals, and I know who you are, because y'all have said hello. The most annoying thing that heterosexuals ask me is, when am I going to get married? I'm like, I'm 51 years old, and you still keep asking me when I'm going to settle down and get married.
That's a loaded question.
And I'm like...
That or why you're single. Those two are loaded questions.
And I'm like, and yes, why are you still single? Which I'm like, I'm sorry, I know who I am. I have a wonderful relationship with
single is something wrong.
I have a wonderful relationship with myself, so I know why I'm not in a relationship.
Right, exactly.
True.
I know why
Getting
I'm not in a
my med
relationship.
schedule is not easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, it reminds me of when I was
It
a
is
kid.
not easy being Joel sometimes. It is not.
Yeah.
But Joel
Even Joel has
loves...
issues.
Yeah, even Joel has issues. And Joel has some
Well, that
issues.
question reminds me.
But hold on, Randy.
Oh,
Okay, girl.
you bitch.
Okay, everybody at the same
In the
time.
break, you bitches just said, we can talk over each other, and I'm like, I'm on with that now, but guess what? I ain't on with it anymore. Fuck all y'all. You can say what you want to say. Do not
Randy.
Fuck all you bitches.
As he used the example of talking over somebody.
I said earlier we shouldn't talk over each other. And guess what? You shut me down when I'm trying to talk over your ass.
Kiddiness at the Texas Tech.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of fucking cat hair on my brain now.
But at this point in my at this point in my life, I have a lovely man that comes to visit every now and then. And I told Randy this story. He is the most meticulous lover I have ever met. And I mean meticulous as in to the point of preparation time. This man takes forever.
Worth every bit of it.
Ever. He needs to make sure that his kitchen is properly cleaned. I mean, properly cleaned.
He has that on
To the
his
point
own.
where I'm laying there going, what is he doing in there?
Dushing.
He is making sure satisfaction is guaranteed.
Thank you, Randy. I was trying to keep it a kitchen, but you said
Because-
dushing.
No,
So,
he
okay.
said
You're always talking about how big it is, so
No
if it's that
pun
big,
intended.
he really has to, like,
It matters.
Mm-hmm.
If it has a
Yeah, it
second
does matter.
O-ring,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'll
But
just
he
splash
puts
out.
meticulous
Oh,
care
some
in
kind of
preparation.
I don't know what the hell garbage disposal shit you talking about O-rings. I don't know.
Oh no, it's an
But
O-ring.
he
There's
puts-
a second O-ring.
But he puts meticulous care into making sure that we're going to have a good time. And when we do, we have a good time. We have a good time.
Well,
Yes, we do. But I'm like, wow, perhaps you should prepare before you come over. And then he's like, but why? I mean, don't you like
The
when I-
anticipation. It would be different if he did it by himself and then just came over and
Oh,
got
I would
it.
And
totally
this-
love the anticipation.
And this is the first man I met in a while, where I didn't have to say, did you bring a condom? This man has his bag. He has a bag
He's like-
with all the stuff that you need to have
which color you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys not keep a go
He
bag?
has several varieties of condoms.
I have a go bag.
Which I asked him, how many people are you seeing? Which I don't care. I mean, you doing your thing. But he has several different varieties of
That's a good
condoms.
old extended trick.
And he has a little bulb thing for, as Randy said, douching. I hate using that word.
I like it because it's funny.
I know.
Well, he's just cleaning the pipes. That's all there is.
He's making sure like I said, that kitchen is clean. It is spotless.
You can take a shot on it.
You can,
Like y'all never.
and I have.
Randy.
I love you for saying that.
You can take a shot on it.
And I applaud him for that
That's
because.
not a trick.
But you know what? The beautiful thing is, like I said, I've had a couple of tricks who are like, just stick it in, and I'm like, let me put on the condom first. No, I don't want to do a condom. Just stick it in.
No.
I'm like, you know what?
Well, depends on who.
Yeah, sometimes it does. But if I've known you a while, yeah, we'll do it.
If there's
If I know you're,
if there's nothing to catch, you can't.
and if you
Yeah.
tell me, and I had one who told me his entire medical history, and he was HIV positive, and he told me all the stuff and everything else, and we had a good time.
That's a good thing.
We had a good time.
Yeah,
People
there's
don't
nothing wrong
understand
with
that,
that.
like trust and honesty and
Yes,
transparency
Yes.
is something that can enhance your sex
It's,
life better than
it's
any
a treasure
toy.
when you find somebody
you-
that it's open to have that conversation
May I ask
and
a
it's
question?
honest. No.
Yes.
Have you ever been with a guy? Okay, all right. Here's the example. I'm at the Ripcord, right? 20 years ago, making out with a guy at the bar. And we're making out heavy and hard, kissing. I love to kiss. Kissing is the most fabulous thing ever. So,
Kissing is a precursor to what sex is going to be like.
exactly.
Oh yes.
So we were down, girl. It was good. So then he said to me,
Remember,
"Do you want to
David,
come
you
back?"
asked this question. Go ahead. I'm
I need a
sorry.
gentleman
So then
to light
he
my
asked
cigarette.
me. He asked me. I don't have a lighter. He asked me, "Do you want to go back to my house?" I said, "Hell yeah." He said, "I have to tell you something. I have HIV. Is that a deal breaker?" And I said, "I'm sorry, but it is, because I'm a girl. I'm a hypochondriac." So I was like, I don't mean any harm, but I
So will you prefer somebody to lie to you though?
no, wait, I'm not done.
Just asking.
Cigarette
No.
Do you prefer somebody to lie to you? Because he could have actually not said anything. You could have actually gone to bed with him.
of course I don't prefer anybody to lie to me. I appreciate him being honest. And so he gave me a choice, and my choice was no. Guess what? He sent his friends over, and they all read me, 4 of them. Just read me down. Just gave me the riot act. How dare you? How could you? Blah, blah,
Well,
blah,
back in the
blah.
day, I can understand that
No, I
more.
can never understand that kind of bullying.
Here's the thing.
And I'm not trying
bully.
defending. I'm not trying to defend anyone,
Right.
but
Here's
I
the
can
thing.
see where back then it was harder for somebody to say, "Okay, I'm okay with it," where there wasn't really much of a. And we know it's not curable, but there's a treatment for it nowadays.
But
There's ways to
here's-
prevent it. It
but
wasn't like
but
that
my
before.
choice is not to be exposed.
Right, and I
there's
respect that.
nothing
I respect
wrong with that.
No.
And they were wrong for coming over.
And no, they
and that's-
bullied me. They ran me out of the bar, yelling,
Yeah.
you hate people with AIDS and shit like that." I'm like,
Oh no, that's
seriously?
crazy.
And
That's crazy.
And that's where we get at
Told
kind of
you
that
about
thing
years
before
ago.
about people turning, being respectful and turning you down, and then
Yeah.
and then their preference be
It takes a
something that incites this reaction
True.
out of people that is not rational in
It
itself.
takes a mature man to take rejection well. Not everybody does. Some
You
are, kids about it. Been on both sides. I've been rejected, and I said, "Okay,
sorry.
good.
Go there.
I'm
No,
walking
you're
away."
good.
Okay.
I have rejected, and some of them, thankfully, have been okay with it. Some of them have not, and I just said peace before we get crazy up in here.
But you have no idea how I was so comforted by the fact that he did tell me before we went to his home, and he didn't lie. And so I didn't lie, and then I was punished for
So,
saying
Ran-
my
And
truth.
you
So-
didn't deserve that, though.
So, Randy,
I'll say that.
Let me put it to you like this, in terms that you will understand. 20 years ago, you were correct, because you did not want to be with someone who was, and that's fine.
And the risk was
20
higher.
years ago, and the risk was a lot higher years ago. So you're 20 years ago, you were correct. Nowadays, because the treatment has gotten so much better, because now people with HIV have a lower risk of spreading the disease than they did before. You still can get HIV.
Oh,
you can be on PrEP and get HIV.
We discussed this on the show.
It's just like birth control. It's not. It's only 99% effective.
The only thing that's 100% is abstination, and we know that's not happening.
Yeah, ain't nobody. No,
And even the scientific studies have only
guess
been
what?
through
Yeah.
roughly 3/4 through.
David and I are on the same
For different
page.
reasons.
Yes, for
Right,
different
same page.
reasons.
But any actual
We've
study
abstained
about
from-
PrEP is
I don't abstain.
He doesn't abstain.
No, but
You
I'm
don't.
abstaining from certain
asexual.
certain behaviors.
Oh,
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
right. I
That's
forgot
not-
about
But
that.
I'm
Yeah, that's not the
abstaining
same as abstention.
from certain
that's
behaviors
totally different.
because I had a moment when I thought that I had HIV and I would not have anal sex with anybody because I was worried that they may contract HIV from me, and I was like, "Girl, I'm
Well, the thing is
trying not
that
to say shit."
knowing, like I said, going
All I'm
back,
saying is oral sex is a good thing.
going back to one, knowing who you are as a person is the reason why that I decided to educate myself to make sure that I understood that when someone says, "Hey, I'm HIV, but my T cell count is at an all-time high. I cannot spread it.
what's low, isn't it?
It's or low.
Low,
is
it's low.
undetectable.
Yeah,
It has to be
viral
undetectable.
Yeah, it's so
T-cells should
undetectable
be high.
that
Yeah.
you have a
You can spread it.
you can't
according
spread
to
it,
the CDC.
According to the CDC.
However,
So hold on.
No,
So the
I can't even hold on, and you get to chime in. Let me say something. Let me
Say
say
something.
something.
Say something,
Because
Randy.
I'm
Young girl.
tired of this bullshit about me not being educated. Let me tell you something. I am educated.
No, but you didn't say that.
about
I did not
HIV.
say
No,
that.
Educated
I'm not-
himself.
I'm not.
Yeah, you said
saying-
about himself.
He educated himself.
Can I just say this?
Yes, say it.
Go ahead, girl.
I know what you're talking about with the education. Knowing what he told me, I'm a hypochondriac. I could not have sex with somebody who has HIV because let me tell you something.
And it's also
it would
back
never
in the
get out
day.
of my brain.
It was
would never
20-something
get out of my
years
brain.
ago.
What if? What if? What if? And even if it's now, if somebody has HIV,
go ahead. I didn't say.
I'm saying I wouldn't have sex with them. And y'all can hate me if you want to.
And that's a
We don't.
But
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 that's
guess
right.
what? Guess what?
No, nobody hates
For me,
you.
it's self-preservation.
I had the same stance.
But Randy,
It's
And
self-preservation.
Randy, something you have to keep in mind is that not everybody's going to agree with your
Oh, I know
opinion,
that.
and the same
I
thing
know
is going to
that.
happen
I
with
know
every single
that.
one of
but
us.
Randy,
I know
I
that.
think I need to.
But you
I don't
said
think you
Stevie as
heard.
an educated person.
No, I did not
No.
say that.
Yeah, you did.
No, I
He said
didn't.
No, he said he
decided to educate
educated
myself.
himself.
I said, knowing the person that who I am, knowing that I am I love sex. I'm very sexual, and that is who I am, and I know that.
No, we don't.
The thing is,
You have
is
to come
that
on to everybody
when
on the
I
show.
knew that, I realized that I needed to educate myself better when it comes to my partners. So I made sure I read all the stuff I needed to read. I made sure that I took whatever precautions were. I spoke to the partner
Right.
about my concerns and everything else, and we had a lovely time. We had a great time. I'm not putting you in that because this is all about me.
I know that.
And I'm not saying that the way you handle it is wrong. I did not say that. I literally told you
I know.
that 20
I know.
years
I
ago,
know.
yes,
Yeah.
the rates were higher. And I had been with someone who was HIV positive. We took all the necessary precautions back then because I liked this person. Mm-hmm. All the necessary precautions were taken. I used the condom every time. I got tested every 3 months. And we were together for maybe about 6 or 7 months. Okay. So, yeah, I took all the necessary precautions because I liked this person. I didn't want to, for
And
me,
that's the right thing to do.
if I like the person,
Right.
it's fun.
Right.
And I'm not discounting in
No,
any
and
way,
I
shape, or
apologize
form.
if I misheard you about the whole thing with the educated thing. I misheard you.
And it doesn't
but-
become stigmatic.
Mm-hmm.
Your preference doesn't become stigmatic if your treatment of them as people and strictly people, and them being personal interactions you have with people with HIV in general. Not you, Randy. It's not all about you.
No,
I'm teasing you, girl. I'm teasing you.
Y'all are just
Shush, Randy.
Teasing you.
Nobody is bullying you.
Randy, come on.
It is not
good Lord.
stigmatic. Like,
No
people
one is
think-
bullying
People
you.
think anyone
Nobody
that
is.
won't sleep with somebody who has HIV comes from a stigma standpoint, and it's, they have the stigma about it. And it's like, it's just as much a preference as anything else. Is, if you had any other communicable anything, I wouldn't sleep with you. And that's just me.
well.
as a
That's
preference.
where I came from.
And if you treat them like people in every other setting,
and I was
it
meant
is not-
so kindly by what I
it is
said.
not, it's not stigmatic for me to not want to put myself in a jeopardizing position. And, and that is something that
And I guess-
is, regardless of what
that's-
they're on and what they're doing.
Right.
If you
But if
told me you had herpes, I would say, girl.
I have literally triaged somebody who was HIV positive,
And
who
so-
had fallen and was bleeding,
Right.
and didn't give a second thought to whether they were HIV positive or not. Knowing full well that they were, I just rushed in and took care of them.
True. And so I can see where this conversation is very, very passionate, and I like it and appreciate it. But at the same time, we have to think about the fact that an opinion is just like an asshole. Everybody has one. And so let's go back to the original
There are two
question
people
that we're talking
there
about.
are two people that don't. Me and Kim Jong-un.
Oh, there you
Do
go.
not have assholes.
Perfect.
I don't even know that queen.
They're
Who
just
is
black
she?
holes, period. Okay.
She's the cute Asian one.
So going back to the original question,
Mr. Wright
now,
versus
Mr.
Mr.
White,
Right
can
now.
you please let us know your stance on your own
Yeah, because
question?
that had to be interesting for you,
Yeah.
given your revelation.
You and I have not talked
Your
about this
ET
piece.
That's not a
Entity.
revelation. We talked about this before.
I know, but
No, I know, but
does Mr. Right versus
But-
Mr. Right now change for you?
right, but he
in
has
that?
been around the park regardless, and he has mentioned this before.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I
so
have.
it's a from an asexual perspective. It will be interesting for him to
It would-
say what
exactly.
what his point of view on
What's the
this.
criteria for Mr. Right versus Mr. Right now?
Well,
For you.
Mr. Right Now doesn't exist because,
Right.
I mean,
Mr. Right now is a sexual thing.
exactly.
You're gonna go
So
home and
we
play
miss-
chess or something.
watch Netflix and chill, something like that.
Like,
No,
chill.
with absolutely no chill.
literally,
Well,
like
chill,
not absolutely,
chill.
but, mhm.
no, the
Yeah.
only thing being chill.
Like the real definition of chill.
It's extremely difficult in dating when you're asexual because it's a situation where most people go out on a date. Well, I say most people, most gay guys go out on a date with the conception that they're going to have sex at some point.
Hold on, that's not just gays. That's everybody.
Well, I can't speak for
That's
everybody.
almost everybody.
I can't speak for everybody.
Anyone who's not
Yeah, I have to
asexual
agree.
is looking to score at the end of a day.
And that would be, and that's
The
just
majority-
that's just
majority.
not who I am,
Right.
And let me be real clear on this. It's not to say that if I don't meet the right person and he's the right guy and he is just everything I've ever dreamt of, that I won't be the first one to drop my pants. I'm not saying that at all. But as a general rule, I just it's just
It's not on the agenda.
not on the agenda.
It's not even on the agenda. It doesn't exist,
Right.
as far as I'm concerned. So for every date I go on, it's Mr. Right.
Okay.
You know,
Interesting.
but it's not, and it's never. And from where I sit, there's gonna be no sex at the end of this, But try to meet. First of all, there are so few asexuals who are out. First of all, there's so few of us. First of all, and then try to meet a gay guy, and then you have to tell him you're asexual, and the date's over. You're left.
Right.
You're left with the bill.
Right.
So because they want to have sex at some point, and sex is just not even. It's not on the list. It doesn't exist. It's just
Right.
I'm going out and having. It's like going out and having dinner with someone that
Right.
I hope to find attractive at some point. But it's more than a physical attraction. It's a romantic. It's a deeper kind of attraction than what most gay men are
There's
like.
literally sparks flying.
Right.
Because
Well,
the reality of
my
the
thing is, who is this motherfucker skipping the bill? That was my
That
immediate reaction.
so does not
And you
even.
saw my face when
Yeah,
you
I
said,
did. And you saw that. I was like,
Who is this motherfucker
well,
skipping the bill?
it's just like I'm saying that just
Yes,
basically
we're
they're trying to
going
cut the date short. Basically,
Exactly. There's suddenly get an emergency.
Right,
a
exactly.
rescue call.
Yes, you said, well, I said,
My
look,
cat
I'm
just got
asexual and I don't have sex with,
Yeah,
like,
I
oh,
get
you
a- I
know
get a
what? My
rescue
mom just
call.
called and
I
she's
get a
got one
rescue
foot
call.
of the.
Pay your motherfucking bill.
I mean, have you ever encountered and I think that's very interesting that there is not a right now option for that. Like, do you have no attraction to just just really Netflixing and chilling with somebody, would that be something like you'd be interested in, or is it strictly just looking for that forever?
So to a certain extent,
you play board games and whatnot. Like,
and I guess where Charles is going is, what is based on you being asexual? What is your right now?
There is no right now.
Well, that's
no. But what does it translate to?
It doesn't translate. It doesn't exist
because we think of that as sexually, but like
we're taking the sexual piece out.
There's no right now.
My intrigue there is formulating a right now, and like growing a culture for asexuals to have like dates that have no sexual, precursor.
I don't even know the answer to that, because, like I said, there are so few people who identify identify as being asexual that I don't even know. I mean, first of all, let's talk about how few of us there are.
Right, and they stay away from dating in general because they don't want to do that.
And two, if you've done any research at all on the asexuality thing, they tend to be people who tend to be very socially awkward in some cases anyway, right. And that is definitely sometimes me and sometimes not me. But it's kind of it's just. I don't know how Mr. Right now. I can't. I have no definition. Mr. Right, it would be more like,
because I'll put it to you this way.
What kind of movies do you like on Netflix?
Right. For me, and I'm thinking
totally go on like a drawing date with somebody or like a coloring date.
Right. Yeah,
and that would be awesome for me. For it to be non-sexual, would be awesome.
I think honestly, I think I understand where this conversation is going. When it comes to the romantic side. Mm-hmm. Kissing and cuddling.
Love it.
Love
all
so
of that.
That may be your Mr. Right now.
Yeah.
Kissing and cuddling.
So kissing and cuddling.
Randy's about to explode.
Because I have an idea.
Go, girl.
No.
Shut up, bitch. It's called a cuddle party.
Well,
and I want to go.
Right.
And a cuddle party is just everybody having fun and cuddling.
Spooning.
And
a lot of spooning going
TV,
on.
And just a big old California king bed, and everybody's got their jammies on.
So I just
cuddling. We're like big enough for two couples.
Right.
Okay, but I want
to clarify something.
But let me.
Whatever happens doesn't happen.
But let me tell you this, Randy. That's already happening.
Why?
That is already. I spend a lot of time on the internet for every week of the show. I spend a lot of. There are groups of people who are having
cuddle parties.
They're having cuddle parties.
There's no sex.
There's actually people you can pay just to cuddle.
Cuddling ends up that
I
party breaks up.
love a cuddle party.
Those people go and have sex after the cuddle party. They meet at the cuddle party. They all cuddle and they know the rules of that party. But they're not asexual people.
I guess if I was put on the spot and had to define what Mr. Right now is, it would be someone where we know up front that we're not having sex. First of all, that's just not going to happen. And maybe cuddling. I could go for like kissing and cuddling. I could do that all night long.
I would go for cuddling and kissing all night long too. I don't have a problem with that. And I don't understand.
But that's a rarity though. I mean, a lot of times people are like, guys go on dates because they're going to look at it as sex. That's
right.
Yeah,
that's the reason they're on the date.
I have a question for you.
And I think that really kind of clears stuff up, because when you think asexual, you think absolutely we're friends.
Right.
And hold on.
Well, no,
we're friends.
So we're capable we're capable of having romantic relationships, hence homo-romantic. And that's what I consider myself. Mm-hmm. We're entirely capable of having romantic relationships. But the thing is, most people don't. They equate, a relationship is having sex all the time,
right?
Which if you ask your own parents how often they have sex, and you're going to cringe when you get the answer, you'll probably find it's not every day,
right.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, sex doesn't exist for you.
Exactly.
Right. And this is
no sex is not something that is in our registry.
It's foreign.
And this is what I want to kind of clarify and also ask. It seems that in there is a big difference between being sensual and being sexual.
Oh, yeah.
Because
huge.
It seems like you are open to sensuality with a partner, but not sexuality. And that's what I wanted to bring up.
And
you can kiss and cuddle. You can find attraction to being sensual with each other,
Exactly.
but not the sexual.
And that's why he
Yes,
describes
Queen.
himself as-
That's what needed to be explained.
So the
Thank
person
you.
who is not asexual.
Queen.
No,
But
exactly.
I mean, that's why he describes himself as homo-romantic, because the sensual does exist.
Right.
Whereas we are all
But
homosexuals.
I think we had not break it down to that
Yeah,
point
exactly.
of sexuality versus sexuality.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think that people when David did an episode with us before the dinner party, when he did the episode and talked about asexuality, I don't think we got down to the
I think we
point
totally
of.
And that was a great topic of
yeah.
him for him to bring up.
But I think that this is better because now we understand that it's more of a sensual thing than anything else.
But let me explain.
Not every asexual
I don't
is
speak
on
for
that.
all asexuals.
No.
I speak
No,
for
no,
me.
no,
I
no.
speak for
We don't
me.
speak- no.
Because there are a lot of people out there who are
Yeah,
just
and
totally
everybody's
against
different.
There's a lot. Probably there are. If you become a member of the asexual community, and we have our boards and on Facebook groups and whatever else, you'll find that a lot of people are actually aromantic, and that's perfectly okay too.
yeah.
And the thought of being touched by another person just sends chills up their spine. That's not me.
Right.
That's not who I am. That doesn't make me any less
It's a spectrum,
asexual.
just like
Exactly.
every other-
Exactly. That doesn't make me
It's
less
just like being a
asexual.
bottom and being a top. What is
I-
your preference?
But I do love the
Goes down to
idea
that.
of, listen, I'm not a romantic when it comes to that. Bitch, I love a slumber party, okay? And what's wrong
Nothing wrong
with
with
a
that.
slumber party?
Nothing wrong with that.
And teddy bears, no,
Right.
teddy bears. Maybe teddy bears are involved, but nobody's fucking a teddy bear. Don't get me wrong. It's not about sex. It's about the togetherness.
Not unless
and
you're a
that-
furry.
Girl, why do you keep...
Anyway,
Because I was going to say, I'm a teddy bear. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm just talking about... No, what I'm saying is a sleepover is fun. And why not? There's no sex.
Because we're not
Oh,
asexual
no.
people.
We're not.
Any of us going to the same slumber party that he's going to,
I wouldn't say that about me. 'Cause
No,
I
but
would love a
listen,
sleepover
he's fixing to
like
make a
that.
point.
that
Listen,
you
he
can
has a
be
point.
romantic with another man, and it can get to the point where like you are romantic and being sensual with that man.
At
Okay,
a certain point in time, you're
for David,
you're
and,
going to
and
look
it-
for that.
for David, it's just that. There's no like
There's no
elevation.
elevation.
we're peaking
to
right there.
sex.
Right.
Yep.
That's
No, I get
that's
that.
the peak
I
moment.
get that.
Right, but
there's-
any of us, if we all got romantic with somebody,
We
there
want
are
sex.
next steps that all of us would initiate.
Oh, I'm gonna skip
with
the
that
steps and go.
person.
I'm gonna skip the steps and go straight to the sex.
Exactly. Especially if you
that's
spend
why-
all night getting your, peanut
But-
butter with their butt.
Pinky, I know what he's talking about, and I'm agreeing with him. It's nice. It took just
I understand
cuddle.
that. I'm just saying.
So
No, no,
It's
and
not,
I
it's
agree.
not a slumber
Yeah,
party,
it's
though.
nice.
For him, it's a romantic,
a slumber party is totally sexless.
Let's call it sensual.
platonic.
Sensual.
It is a bunch of girls
No.
sleeping over painting each other's nails. It's different.
Exactly.
It is different.
No, but that's what I'm talking about.
That's a slumber party.
I know that. That's why I said fucking
And
slumber
that's why
party.
it's different. That's why it's different for us.
It's
than
not
it is
different for
David.
us because I actually literally
The girls
said
from
a
Canada.
slumber party.
Exactly. He's not thinking about it as a slumber party.
I am.
That is what I am
That's
saying.
the point he's trying to make.
point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, but I am thinking about it as a slumber party and no sex.
And it's more
Okay,
important to
but-
him than a slumber party.
For me, that is
That is the depth
the climax.
of the,
I mean,
of the,
that's
the physical connection he has with another person. Whereas
Okay.
we get more intimate with them.
I get that. I'm saying at the fucking slumber party, I wouldn't have sex. I don't know what.
Nobody
fucking
said
part
you-
of that
nobody said
you
you
don't
would.
understand. I'm
Girl,
saying,
both of them
I'm
were trying
saying
those claws.
I would
Goodness.
not have sex.
Nobody
at
said
the
you were going to
slumber
have.
party.
Nobody said that at
And I
all.
like the idea.
Okay.
All I said was
Okay.
I like
Okay.
the
Let's
go
idea
back
of
to
a
the
slumber
Okay,
party.
Wolverine,
Right.
retract the claws.
Oh my god.
Everybody
Both of you.
retract the
Seriously.
claws.
Right. I'm not saying that you would have
It's-
sex at the slumber
Let's
party.
bring the
But-
I'm
kindness
not
back.
having sex at the slumber
Are you
party.
listening?
No, you probably are, girl.
Turn your ears on.
Cats.
Turn your ears on. Turn your ears on.
You probably are having
Right.
sex at the slumber party.
I'm not having
But you
sex
prob-
at the goddamn slumber
No,
party.
but nobody.
That was GOT. I'm just watching the big screen.
Nobody
TV.
said-
Friday the 13th. I'm hugging a bear or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, Randy, basically put, are you now
Would you have
saying
sex with that bear?
No. Basically put, Randy, are you saying that you're asexual?
I have a problem with it.
No, I'm
No,
asking
you're not.
Are you asexual?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, so
I would say that,
But-
I would be at the slumber party. I would organize the slumber party.
Would you
in a
consider it
heartbeat.
gay?
No.
Would you consider it romantic?
No. That's what I said a million times.
I know, and that's why I'm saying that it's different for David, because for David, the potential for those things, that is the romance, that's
where
the high
it
point.
stops.
That's the high point.
that's the attraction, that's the magnetism between
Whereas Randy, if you met someone at the slumber party and things got really nice,
You might try to find a different room.
and this, I'm not saying no.
or even
Hold
at the
on, hold
party,
on.
say, you know,
I understand what he's saying. Hold on.
No,
The fact of the matter is that even if you didn't do it at the slumber party, you would probably hook up later,
Yeah.
and you would do the do.
but even there being a
David will
remote
not
chance that
do
you might
that.
is higher than David's.
Yeah, David would
Because
not
there
do
is
it.
no chance
You would
that David's
would
gonna have
do
sex
the
with
do.
you know what? I would.
And you're taking offense to it, you don't need to.
You-
I don't know
you
why
don't
you're being
No,
offended by
I'm
it.
being offended because
Just a difference
I
in opinion.
just fucking said that I would do a slumber party and we could snuggle and that's it.
I know.
And all of you bitches are
Except
putting
one.
all this
Except
shit
one.
on top of that.
Actually, not all bitches.
not all of it.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm
We're all
agreeing.
bitches, but we'd say it with love.
I prefer the C word.
I'm agreeing with all of you.
Sorry.
I'm agreeing with David.
I said it
and I would
first.
like that.
Yes.
I would like that. And yes, I would snuggle. And no, I would not hook up with some rando after the party.
Nobody's saying that.
Jesus.
You got to know him.
Oh my
over the
God!
period of
You
months.
can't agree with any goddamn
time
thing
to
I
take a break.
say.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
So,
I just-
so let's go back
I'm
to
not.
the
Okay.
original question.
Okay,
again.
so
I said
let's
stop.
finish.
Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. Let's just finish this.
I
Yeah.
seriously
We're done.
said that I would just do a slumber party and that's
We're
it.
done, Randy. We're done. We're gonna move on to
We're
something
gonna put the
else.
slumber
You're gonna
party
move
to
on.
bed.
We're gonna put the slumber party literally to bed because
bed,
we're
yeah.
done.
Why are you holding the microphone?
Because I want everybody to
Something like
hear.
All right.
Because
You know what?
me and David are sharing a mic, so yes, and I'm speaking, so that's why.
Your
That
voice
out.
does carry. Boom. Okay.
All I said
So-
was that I would do a slumber party.
Okay.
With no
so how
sex.
do we
Are we-
move
Okay.
from
And then-
All
And
right,
I-
we're gonna take a break.
it's time.
It's time for a commercial
No, it's
break.
time to close the show. It's
No,
like-
we're gonna take a break because
The
yeah.
curtains are closed. That's all.
Yeah, we're going to take a break because this is actually quite interesting and I'm having a good time with this. So we're going to take a
No,
break
It's not
Me
quite
too.
interesting.
and we'll be right back because commercials have to pay the bills. So we'll be back.
Right? Stay tuned for these words.
We'll be right back.
Our sponsor.
We'll be right back.
We got a refill on.
Well, we're back on the air, and I am Marcus, joining all my crew right here.
Woo! And we're happy to have you, Marcus.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna finish out this episode because this episode is actually almost done. We had some difficulties, but now we're done. So we are going to finish this episode with a Carlos moment. It's time for a Carlos moment.
Can y'all make that
Are we
thing
making
like
it
you
a
do?
thing?
Like you do
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I love that. It's time for a Carlos moment.
It's so nice to not be the only one with that.
this shit. I'm the only person at the table who doesn't have a song. No.
Here's a
Marcus
song.
doesn't have a song.
Here's a song. Beat it. Now.
Beat
Why are you looking at me like that? I said that with
beating it.
love.
all this
He's
going
beating it.
I
I'm not looking at you. I'm
know.
zoning out.
All this noise and animosity. Come on, break it down, bitches.
I was zoning
All
out.
right. Okay, Carlos, bring us back in, bitch.
So the question was, are you looking for Mr. Right or Mr. Right now? And in reality, kind of similar to what and of course we'll get Mr. Marcus after.
Of course, we must.
We must.
Can't wait to
Yes.
do this.
So just like Charles said, I have no agenda. Now, I think there is a difference, when it comes to dating. If I'm going to date you, the first thing that I'm looking for is definitely not sex. Do I want sex on the first date? Sure, I do. I'm a very sexual person, and so if I'm going to date you, I'm looking for more than just a hookup. Now, anything outside of that to me is a hookup, and I have nothing against it. I've done it before. I'll do it again. It's not an
And
issue.
again.
And
We have a repeat offender.
And
we
again,
have repeat offenders, and so nothing wrong with that. Now, in reality, I never look for and although this may sound a little shady, I don't ever look for anything in particular. If it happens, I go with the vibe. If I feel it, I go after what I want. And if it doesn't, and I do grow up sometimes.
We're all laughing because you said if you feel it.
If you feel it with one hand or two.
I only need one hand in reality, but I can use both hands.
Fair enough.
So,
gotta have two hands, y'all.
Totally clueless about what they're talking about.
That's our resident asexual.
I totally did not even catch it. Sorry.
I'm just coming in on everything.
Oh my God. That was beautiful.
Sorry.
I'm go with the flow type of person. If I feel you, I feel you. If not, it is what it is. Now, when I do get intoxicated, of course, I get a little bit more handsy.
Who does it? Oh, Lord.
David.
But yeah, it's definitely no agenda.
That is not true. David will get into the kissing and the hugging and doing all that stuff.
And just for those out there, I want to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with being single. I have chosen to be single for many, many, many years until I turned 30. That's when I decided I think I want to pursue something more than just being single. And so I did. It has not necessarily worked out all the time, which is good because those are learning experiences. But I am glad to say that I have lived life my way. Whether that's right or wrong, it's my way.
That's what they say. You're either a blessing or a lesson.
Yeah. And I've had a whole bunch of lessons.
My lesson.
I'm someone's blessing and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Amen to that.
A blessing and waiting.
And I'm someone's lesson, so it's
in waiting.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I've been somebody's lessons too.
I'm someone's
pretty
chosen
sure.
one.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, God.
Oh, here we go.
I'm a lesson.
Neo across the table, y'all.
Right. Mr. Blue Pill.
So Mr. Marcus,
that's
please
bad.
let us know. Are you looking for Mr. Right or for Mr. Right now?
Well, it was dates, though, right? Do you go on dates?
When you go on dates?
Oh, will you go on dates?
You go on
Yes.
dates. You look for Mr. Right or
Is
Mr.
it
Right
necessarily Mr. Right or Mr. Right now, or...
I'm looking for Mr. Right. I mean, I could have one-night stands like that. I mean, I have married guys always constantly after me. I have young ones after me. But I want something that's more emotional.
You want a connection.
Emotion. Exactly.
And that's what most of us are looking for.
I get tired of people saying, oh, I just love him for that.
I'm sorry.
And that's
Most
what
of y'all are looking for.
That's why I say most of us. That doesn't
looking for
include
the
you.
emotion. I get my sexual high off mostly the emotional and the
Right.
bonding and stuff.
Oh,
like
You
yeah.
that.
want to cook them breakfast. And
I get my emotional high off of the fact that you have a big dick. So that's me.
I
don't think that's emotional.
I think it's more physical.
For me, it is.
No, mine's more emotional. I get mine off most emotional.
I think there's a certain degree of that.
Because at the end of the day, if you have sex without emotion, it's really not making
Not
love.
the best.
It's just not the
Regardless
best.
of how good your sex is, with
Yeah.
no emotional connection,
It's not
you are
there.
definitely lacking. Like
The
you got
most
the spark
important
plug
piece.
going on,
Yeah.
but like once you get that combustion, you add the gasoline.
Once
Totally
you
different
once you
story.
have the emotional and the sex and love,
And
it
for those that
intensifies
talk
more.
about the
Way.
blue pill and shit,
Way.
the most
I feel
important-
bullied.
The most important,
Yes, please.
or I would say, the most effective Viagra. It's actually love. If you have feelings for somebody, that's the best Viagra there is anywhere.
Yeah, when I date somebody, when I go out, I want them to see me, not be looking around half the table, looking for somebody else, or not in the car with the sunshade on, giving somebody else the next
Right.
glare. I want somebody to see me.
It's about being
Not
in a
50
crowded
other
room
people.
and being the only two people in the room.
Yeah.
Thank you. Not dealing with a hoe.
Right. And trust is like one of those things, like sexually, like knowing that person, giving that person carte blanche to do what, and you know that regardless of what they want to do, like your
It's a
best
rarity.
interests
It's a very
are
rarity.
in mind. They're always is something. It's cool to give up that like fight or flight response in that, and just like totally submerge yourself in that experience sexually because you know that nothing wrong is going to happen.
It's a rarity.
It is, and
It's rare.
I'm gonna have to put my 2 cents in here.
Give us a dime. Come on.
Don't be shortchanging this. Come on, girl.
Okay, all that stuff is lovely and Hallmark posts, cardish. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm down for a fuck.
Says the neighborhood hoe.
I'm down for a
So
fuck.
there ain't nothing wrong with a good.
I'm down
nothing
for
wrong
a
with that.
fuck. And
Nothing wrong with
I
that.
am honest when I tell you, hey, everything that's coming out of your mouth is great,
Shut up.
but I want to put something in your mouth.
Can we smash?
So let's just do that.
Yeah, but it's mostly empty.
Mhm.
It's like empty.
Okay.
sex. Once it's over, and
Once
But the
again,
mouth isn't.
But
once again, we're all different at this table.
Yeah.
yes, we are.
And I would like to just say that I agree with Carlos. I am very happy with being single. Very happy. It would have to take the most incredible man I've ever met to make me change my mind. And by the way, I've had this discussion with people before. And the funny thing is that I have said this. If I end up with that guy, I would be 100% monogamous.
Yeah.
Because if this man actually made me get into him, then I'm all about him.
Yeah.
I can literally have sex with anybody I want to any time of the day or night.
Right.
Literally. And I enjoy that. I have a great thrill. I get a big thrill out of that. But at the same time, if I were to meet someone and they would, like I said, they would have to be the most incredible person I've ever met. They would make me go, you know what? It's all about you.
And that's what it should
And
be.
only you.
That's what it
100%.
should
Like
be.
the analogy, I had a home ec teacher
Mhm.
who had an analogy about it, and kind of trying to put it in layman's terms, and like so that we would understand. It's like if you make an okay cake and you put good frosting on it, most of it's cake. Most of it's not frosting.
Mhm.
So then it's just like a meh cake with, frosting. Being a really good cake, frosting that doesn't need frosting in general. You can eat it without frosting. The frosting only makes it better.
Mhm.
I mean, so like, make yourself the best cake that you possibly can, and whoever you decide to add to that, it's just the frosting on it, and not necessary.
But I have, for the longest time, and I cannot believe I'm saying this on the air, I've been made to feel ashamed about the fact that I'm a very sexual person. And I'm
there's
not
something wrong
looking
with
for, I'm not really looking for a relationship, even at my advanced age.
Girl, you're
Which is
51.
51. I'm 51 years old. At 91, you know what I want to be at 91? I want to be dead in between two 30-year-olds. That's what
I was gonna say, in
yeah,
your photo,
exactly. If I,
in a hit.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No,
And if,
there's nothing wrong with that.
and by the way, if there are two people at this table that if we're going to have that golden girl moment in the future, I want one of them to find me in between two 30-year-olds and say that bitch died the way she wanted to.
Marcus, I hope we're not fighting in that way.
Can we? Okay, so if that happens, can we put "Dirty 30" on your tombstone?
You can.
What episode?
You know what I would love on a tombstone? This bitch died between two 30-year-olds. Good for her.
This is like really like a whole like story of how it happened.
No, not a story. Just those
Visualize
words.
this in my head.
Just those words on a tombstone.
Are you in the middle?
This
of
bitch
it?
died in the middle between two 30-year-olds.
So like, are
okay
you
with
stuck?
that.
Are you spit roasted or are you cuddling?
Yeah.
Spit roasted bitch.
Okay,
Cuddling.
okay.
Oh Lord.
I'm trying to figure this out in my head.
Are you? We're in Houston. Cuddling is hot.
Well,
it is hot to cuddle in this city.
Post-coital, like catch your breath sessions, except you don't actually
Probably would have a heart
catch your
attack
breath.
if they
Right.
have to catch breath,
That's an
so-
aneurysm that happens. And they don't know it. They just fall asleep.
And the 30-year-olds just
yeah,
fall asleep because they're all about themselves.
They
So,
nutted and
Yeah.
toast.
Yeah.
And trust me, if there is a heaven, and I happen to walk up to the gate, and the guy
Here you
goes,
go,
"Hey,
bitch now."
You're like, boom, put it up here.
You was a hoe.
He's gonna give you a high five.
yeah, get a high five and bitch, have a good time in hell."
Just like, you going up and
But the guy at the gate
You ain't-
still gives you a high five before he like presses the
Girl,
button
what you
and the
doing up
doors
here?
open.
No, oh no, the escalator is over there.
The downward escalator.
But I see you.
I hear you.
But don't
Good-
worry,
good on
you're,
you,
not,
bud.
you're just going to the higher echelon of hell, which means that you'll probably end up with a bunch of straight men for the
Right.
rest of eternity,
Which
who
are
will say
great.
no.
You get to send them
Straight men do wonders. Dick sucks, so you'll be all right.
Straight guys are great in the sense that like they're like having a favorite niece or nephew. Like get them all sugared up and then send them the fuck home.
I had a friend once tell me, and I don't know how true this is, but what is it? A hard dick shows no mercy.
True.
Yes, that's true.
So I don't know.
Or is indiscriminate.
There's that.
Yeah, it's
So I don't know.
I mean, I hope it doesn't show mercy. That's no fun.
It doesn't matter whether he's gay or straight. I guess it
There you
doesn't
go.
matter.
Right?
So
Your penis is always wearing rose-colored glasses.
A one-eye glass.
Right? A monocle. A rose-colored monocle.
Rose-colored monocle
For your brown eyes.
Awesome.
I see you.
I see you.
You're being awfully quiet here, Miss Randy.
What?
What?
I haven't anything to say.
Talk to us,
Don't
Randy.
even try.
You
bitch.
always
Don't
do.
even
Come
try.
on.
You got lots to say. Don't even try. Oh, she's thinking.
I'm thinking.
Bitch, please.
So we're ready for show number 2?
No. My thing is, did you just pause? Are we?
No,
Oh, we're okay. So we're still on.
No, so we're still on, but I want to say that we're done with this episode.
Oh.
Yes.
We are
Still
done
working
with
us,
this
we're done.
episode, so we're going to call it a day. We're going to do a second episode that I'm going to put out later, and we're going to have Miss Marcus step in for Miss David White because Miss David White has had enough Texas tea,
Aw.
and she
For
has
today.
to get on.
I'm old. Sorry, girls.
She
I'm
got
old.
everybody at this table is old, bitch. You're fine.
Time out.
So I want to say that hey, if you've heard this episode and you have something to say, send us something on Twitter. Send us something at our Facebook page, Joel and Randy's Texas Tea. Oh, by the way, on Twitter we're Joel and Randy's ST1. And on Instagram, send us some pictures, say hello, say whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Say, hey, bitches, I
Even
heard
if you
your
wanna
show.
bitch at
Let me
us,
tell
bitch
you
at
why I'm so glad that Miss White talked about being asexual and being herself and being number one. I'm going to buy this bitch a shirt that says asexual and gay. Hey. So we're going to close down this show. Thank you, Spreaker, for being our provider. And we will talk to you guys later. So everybody clap
Sign
and
off.
say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I don't want the clap. Don't give me the clap. If you're not going to be good, be good at it.